Hello teachers, this is the instructional guide for Primary 3, Term 1, Week 7. For this week, there are 3 booklets. The first 2 booklets is on subtracting money, and then the last booklet is on mental calculation, and we're just doing one segment of the mental calculation, right? Not everything. Okay, so for the first booklet, we start off by subtracting money, very similar to what they did last week when they were adding money. Right, the first method we taught them is to add dollars first, then add cents, and so on. So subtracting money, they can do it the same way, right? We subtract the dollars first, and then we subtract the cents. For example, $3.25 minus $2.15. How do you subtract that? Right, so you subtract the dollars first. $3 minus $2 equals $1, and then 25 cents minus 15 cents equals 10 cents. The remainder is $1 plus this 10 cents here, 110. Okay, so similarly, right, this is another, it's the same way, right? In here, what you do is you break up, you teach students like number bond, right? You break up $18.95 into $18.95, and then $12.65 to $12.65, and then minus dollars, minus cents. Of course, this happens, right, when you don't need to, this is easy when you don't need to rename, right? As in the dollars and the cents are greater than the dollars and the cents of the smaller amount, right? You don't need to rename in that sense. So get them to do a guided practice for this segment. In fact, I think it is quite a lot of practice for them to do. But I think should be fine, right? Because we're not going to do too many of those independent practice in class. I think basically that's fine, right? So just as long as they finish all the independent practice onto page 5, okay, we can then look for, okay, so let me circle. So do guided practice, right? Everything for them onto page 6, right? Do it with them, get them do it. And then after that, see, some of the questions here are repeated. So I would rather that you forward, right, to maybe, well, let's do, yeah, get them to question 5, right, alone. Okay, on their own, and then you can go around and check the answer to make sure they do it. So remind them the method is quite simple. You take the dollars first, right? Then you subtract dollars first, then you subtract the cents. So dollars minus dollars, cents minus cents. Okay. And then I think the rest are quite repetitive. I would just say maybe go through one of the questions here with E with them. Okay, so how do they do this question? $83 minus $70. I'm sorry, $83.70 minus $44. Oh, sorry, minus blank minus 24.25 equals 15.20. So this is like whole part. Right? Every question here is whole part. All right. So the way to do it is as if they take the whole and then you minus the parts, right? You'll get the parts here. So in this case, whole minus 24.25 minus 15.20, right? And then you get 44.25, right? So if they are not sure, maybe you can get them to do one question here first. Right? These are all whole part. Subtraction question, whole part. I think they should be fine, right? Basically, oh, sorry, this is addition. So this is a subtract question is different. So addition, right? Sorry, I saw it wrongly. Addition will be part plus part equals whole. Okay, so here they should take the greater, the whole minus the part, right? So one way to teach them is maybe to look for the biggest value, and then the biggest value here, right? Oh no, actually we can't do it this way also. Can we use that to do it? Yeah, I think we can, right? So look at the biggest value minus the smallest value. In the case of addition, you minus, you get that answer. So I think whole part is still a good way to do it. So depending on this, right? Whole minus part equals part. Go by this. Part plus part equals whole. Part plus part equals whole. Whole minus part equals part. Whole minus part equals part. All right. So yeah, all right. I think you can do it this way with them. For this question, maybe just do one question with them. So they have to look at it's almost like, I wouldn't say it's a number pattern, but all they need to do is just follow instructions. So if it goes this way, then it'll be this amount minus this amount, right? And then they will get this amount. And then minus this amount again, you'll get this amount. So I think it should be fine. Just do one question with them. And then we move on to question to part 2. Okay, for part 2, recap, no, same thing. It's adding dollars, adding cents. But when we use the algorithm method, oops, I'm sorry. I think I got the wrong notes. Just give me a minute now. I'm going to pause a while, pause recording. I'll be back in a while. Okay, apologies for the interruption. All right, so the next one is doing subtracting money, but using the algorithm way. Okay, so this one, they'll write it like this. I think they're quite familiar with it. Okay, and then you minus the cents first. So it's always from the right to the left. Okay, from the right to the left. And then if renaming is needed, show them this question here. In this case, renaming is needed. 0 cents minus 0 cents equals 0 cents. And then 10 cents minus 6 cents. Sorry. Here you have 0 cents minus 60 cents, right? Cannot. Doesn't work. So you need to regroup from the dollar, right? You take 10 cents, so it becomes 100 cents. All right, so 100 minus 60 equals 40. Right, so use the regrouping way to teach them. They should be able to do it, and then get them to do the guided practice or in class, and then I think that's fine. Okay, the rest of the questions I think is pretty much straightforward because they don't, because you already got some practices for them here. What I'd like you all to do is maybe just get them to do one question. Perhaps you might want to get them to do questions from page 7D in class. So they have to write it out in an algorithm way, make sure that they are neat, okay, and then to practice on regrouping. If some students need the extra practice and give them 1 or 2 more, right, to do, that's fine. The rest, you can just ask them to do a few more practices on their own, right? So I think we should have a lot of time to spend on this one. Then we do one word problem with them here, right? The left, right? So maybe just question 3 would do. Okay, this one in change. And then we do question, let's do question 5 with them. Okay, so they're going to read question here, find the cost of 2 items, and the change received, the amount paid to the cashier was $20. Right? So they have to fill it in like that and make sure that it's that they get the yeah, right, they get the change. So let's see, accept many answers with the names and respective prices of 1 main course and 1 drink are correctly filled in, right? So they need to draw one main course and 1 drink. So for this, right, there's no fixed answer. Okay, you need to check on the behalf, right? You got to check how they are doing this. Good to do question 6. Okay, so remember in the last week we did something similar. Okay, Ella has 14. Last week we did the other way, right? Adding up. So this is subtracting. Ella had $42.10. Jane had $17.60. Each of them shows a way of finding the difference between the amounts of money, fill in the blanks. So Ella way, $14 minus 70 cents. So it's broken up 17 into 60 here, right? And then Jane's way is minus the cents first. Okay. And then after that, again, the 10 cents, and then after that, 60 cents, right? Because it's broken up 50 and 60 here. So you can see 60, you illustrate it that way. Right? Then in minus 50 cents, then minus 17. So you ask them which way is better. Yeah. In fact, I think let's forget it, right? I'm sorry. I decided let's not do this question. I'm not going to assign it as homework as well, right? So let's move to the last booklet, and that is on the mental calculation. Now, mental calculation, take note. I find the first few ones very confusing. Rarely do we use this method. So please skip. Do not teach the first few methods, right? Skip. And let's do adding the tens and then the ones instead, right? For mental calculation. So we start from page 9. Take note of it, right? Take 9. Now, how do you add the ones and the tens together? So 24 plus 38, equals to 54 plus 8. Why? Because 24 plus 38 doesn't break up 30 and 8. So 30 plus 24, very easy, becomes 54. And then 54 plus 8 would give you 62, right? You can count forward and so on, right? So they can do this method. Method 2 is just add the tens first, 30 plus 20 equals 50. 4 plus 8 equals 12. That's actually a very good way as well. And then so after that, 20 plus 30 equals 50. 8 plus 4 plus 8, you get 12. So you get 50 plus 12 equals 62. Right? In fact, method 2 is quite easy. So for this kind of work, right, since it's mental sum, what I would like you to do, right, is please skip 11 and get them to do 2 instead. Right? So that you know how to break up the numbers. Right? So idea here is 42 split up into 40 and 2. So 37 plus 40, that's 77 plus 2. And then method 2 is to split up numbers. Oh, sorry, this is still the same method. Okay. All right. And then you have making hundreds as well. Let me see. I think making hundreds, I would just, I think I would just skip this portion here. So what I'd like you to do in class is you don't have to assign this as homework. Okay, but you may have a mental sum quiz with them, right? Go along this kind of lines, right? Do 2 digits. So you can give them 56 plus 28, right? Ask them to do mental sums. Be careful when you do competition, because if you have really weak students in there or students who are shy, then you might not want to do a competition instead. But give each of these questions, give a different question to these students and let them try out. Okay, so that's it. All right. So in a nutshell, you have 3 booklets, right? First 2 booklets is on subtracting money, and then assign homework, right? As usual, I'll give you the specific instructions. But for this mental sum, just teach that 1 segment, and then after that, you can have some quizzes in class. And that's it.